Hi, my name is Gord. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. We are sitting in my 1970s trailer, sort of RV style trailer that I picked up recently for 1,200 bucks. Okay, so let's just take a quick tour of this place. Um, it has the pretty standard dining area. And after hanging out in the Prius as much as I did, I can't even believe how big this thing is. Right, but there's two benches. There's storage underneath. Was a fresh water tank under here that is 1970s plastic. It's like basically shattered. Um, there is storage under here. I think this is where I would put a modern lithium solar electrical system under there if I was going to do it. It's got some pretty decent cabinets up around and quite a lot of windows, which I guess is a good or a bad thing. Again, these are like the vintage windows and they're in really good shape. You can see there's kind of the road cover, right? So that this would drive in that direction. There's this plastic road cover that's in pretty bad shape, so I'd either have to rebuild or replace that. You can also see that it's 1970s era, so there isn't really a 12-volt electrical system. So this whole kind of electrical system is basically 120. You can see a standard outlet there. This has standard light bulbs in it. One of the cool things is it actually has these propane lights that I don't totally understand. They appear to take normal light bulbs. I've got to do some research, but somehow electricity is generated off the propane, which is pretty cool. It's probably a standard thermopile or something like that. So if we come out from the kitchen area, there's this kind of wall of cabinets here. So it has a bathroom um, that so it's got a vanity, again 120 electric. It's got some other funny light here. It's got the original 1970s toilet, which I've already kind of pried up. So that's coming out of here for sure. Um, and another thing is as you're looking around this, you can just notice there's no water damage. That this thing is in remarkably good shape for the age of it. Take a look around here again. Yeah, there's no water damage. All right, and we come around to the kitchen area. It has a sink. The water system is broken, like I said. So the 1970s era water tank is just cracked and smashed. So that would need some work. I have no idea about the rest of the plumbing system. It has a vintage Dometic furnace, propane furnace, which I don't know if it works. Vintage Dometic range, which I really hope this works. It would be really cool to keep this. It has, and then, yeah, compared to living in my car, just a crazy amount of cabinet space up here. And, just inspecting the electrical system, it all seems like it's in pretty good shape. And again, no water damage. If we turn around kind of beside the bathroom, it's got a vintage Dometic propane fridge, which I doubt works, but again, we can test that out. And just, again, a crazy amount of storage. These cabinets are quite deep. Like, come on. An actual hanging closet? Just wild to me. Yeah, and then here's kind of the bedroom area. Obviously, these mattresses are rubbish. They need to go out, but again, good lighting, good windows. And then here you can see, so about 10 years ago, the guy said that he had done some work to restore this thing. And you can see kind of the difference in the original wall and the work that he did to close it in. Yeah, more storage. There's more storage under the bed as well. And that's the tour of the inside of this thing. It's just a really nice condition. 1970s era trailer. I think this is a really cool find, especially for 1,200 USD. Really happy with this. All right, and here's a look from the outside. It's covered in a tarp. Again, I don't want to film too much just to kind of give my brother some privacy, so I'm not going to do a walk around right now. But you get a sense from this that, again, the outside is in pretty good condition. So, yeah, I know the trailer part itself looks a little bit rough, but it actually just needs a coat of paint. Um, the outside probably needs a coat of paint. But again, there's no obvious signs of like damage or leaking. I mean, even just look around that window. Um, it all looks like that. Um, and so come around the side here, like it probably needs a coat of paint and some of this stuff pulled off. I think probably it needs a new door, but uh, honestly, the exterior part, it's in pretty good shape. It just needs probably a pressure wash, and I mean, a coat of paint would make it look good. Uh, but I don't know if I care about that. Um, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Okay, so if we take a look at the little dinette set already, I've already taken apart the seat on the left here, and it had the fresh water inside, and I guess a bit of storage. You can see from how yellow this is and that it's just basically disintegrated. This is the original 1970s freshwater tank. So the inlet is there and the tank is here. That's going to come out. All right, that was really easy because the plastic literally shattered when I tried to pick it up. All right, and I'm also going to pull this original propane stove and oven out of here, but it's almost 50 years old and I just don't trust the existing propane lines. There's just a few with the door open. One of them's already missing, but there's just 4 screws, I think, holding this in, and then it should be able to come out. So I'm going to pull those screws out off camera, and we'll take another look. Okay, the 4 screws on the front did not get it out, so I popped open the little burner lid, and I see 2 more of these 8-pointed star screws, one on each side. It really seems to me like anytime I see one of those, that's an indication that that's how the trailer was put together versus like the sort of star normal kind of Phillips head screws that it looks like the oven manufacturer used. So I'll get those 4 out and then we'll see where we're at. And now it just slides forward and I should be able to undo the gas line. Yeah, it's right here. It comes into here. So I'll undo that, and then I should be able to slide the stove on out. All right, and there it is. That came out pretty easily. I'm probably just going to build in a shelf on the bottom and then sort of on the top, and then put a microwave in there. I've already taken out the propane fridge. It was just held in by 4 screws and then slid out. It does have quite a lot of ventilation. These 2 like opening vents. The one at the top is just covered by the tarp, which is why it looks a bit funny. So I'm going to probably just stick 2-inch insulation, like 2-inch thick foam insulation along that back there. And there is an AC outlet because the old fridge, you can't see it, it's down below the floor of this thing. Or the base of this cabinet, but the old propane fridge did have AC power, so that's perfect. Here is the existing sink. As far as I can tell, this thing had, it doesn't appear to have a pump anywhere. If it had one, it's gone. But my plan is to replace this system, replace this with kind of what I did in my Prius. So just 2 jugs under here, a small gray water jug. So to do that, I'm going to pull this shelf out of here. I thought maybe this was actually added after the fact, but the screws here are the funny 8-pointed ones that seem specific to these RVs. So I'm going to go ahead and get those screws out. All right, the shelf is out. The P-trap is out. I didn't notice it before, but there's a ton of electric tape on here. So the guy we bought this off of must have done some serious work on this. There are 2 lines that went up here. So this PEX line, I'm pretty sure, is the same stuff that went over to the freshwater tank that I already pulled out here. Then there's this second line. But I'm going to leave these lines in case anyone in the future wants to kind of redo this the way it used to be. Okay, so here is the original sink that the trailer came with, but it had, for the freshwater tank, it had basically one water line that went down from here over to the tank. And this was one of those old kind of pump with the piston in it, kind of faucets, but not only was the tank broken, but the faucet itself was broken. So the little piston and the arm were disconnected. It didn't work. You also had the option to connect it to a fresh water source, in which case this would have been a standard kind of faucet. So this didn't have a water heater or anything. It basically had one PEX line that went over to the water tank, and it had another line that went over to the opening on the far side of the trailer. So that's all that was in here. And then to drain this old trailer, it didn't have a gray water tank. It just had kind of an exit port, a 4-inch. It just drained out the side of the trailer. So I guess you would have had to hook it up to something, or it would have just drained onto the ground. All right, so there you go. Really simple, I guess demo is too strong of a word, but really simple way to remove some of the old appliances, some of the tools you'll need. Yeah, if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Consider subscribing to the channel, like the video, leave some comments, all that kind of stuff. And I will catch you guys in the next video.